One of my favorite fables of all time is called The Three Little Pigs, and it's a story about, you know what? Let's read it together. Once upon a time, there was an old mother pig who had three little pigs and not enough food to feed them. So when they were old enough, she sent them out into the world to seek their fortunes. And oh boy, was the first little pig so lazy. He didn't want to work. He didn't want to work at all, and he decided to build this house out of straw. The second little pig worked a little bit harder, but he was somewhat lazy too. So, out of convenience, he decided to build this house out of sticks. The third little pig worked hard all day and built his house out of bricks. It was a sturdy house, complete with a fine fireplace and chimney that looked like it could withstand the strongest winds. The next day, a wolf happened to pass by the lane where the three little pigs lived, and he saw the straw house, and he smelt the pig inside. He thought the pig would make a mighty fine meal, and his mouth began to water. Mmm. So he knocked on the door and said, little pig, let me in, let me in! But the little pig saw the wolf's big paws through the keyhole. So he answered back, No, no, no! Not by the hairs on my chinny chin chin! Then the wolf showed his teeth and said, Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in. So he huffed, and he puffed, and he blew the house down. The wolf opened his jaws very wide and bit down as hard as he could. But the first little pig escaped and ran away to hide with the second little pig. The wolf continued down the lane, skippity skip, and he passed by the second house made of sticks. And he saw the house, and he smelled the little piggies inside. And his mouth began to water as he thought about the fine dinner they would make. So he knocked on the door and said, little pigs, let me in, let me in! But the little pigs saw the wolf's pointy ears through the keyhole. So they answered back, No, 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 not by the hairs on our chinny chin chin. So of course the wolf showed his teeth and said, Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down. So he huffed, and he puffed, and he blew the house down. The wolf was greedy, and he tried to catch both pigs at once, but he was too greedy and got neither. His big jaws clamped down on nothing but air, and the two little pigs scrambled away as fast as their little hoofs would carry them. The wolf chased them down the lane, and he almost got them. But they made it to the brick house and slammed the door. Pop! Closed. Right before the wolf could catch them. The three little pigs, they were very frightened, terrified, scared. They knew the wolf wanted to eat them, and that was very, very true. The wolf hadn't eaten all day, and he had worked up a large appetite chasing the pigs around, and now he could smell all three of them inside, and he knew that the three little pigs would make a lovely feast. So the wolf walked up to the door, he knocked, and he said, little pigs, let me in. But the little pig saw the wolf's narrow eyes through the keyhole, so they answered back, No, 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 not by the hairs on our chinny chin chin. So the wolf showed his teeth again and said, Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down. He huffed and puffed and huffed some more, and puffed and puffed and puffed and huffed and huffed and puffed, but he could not blow the house down. At last, he was so out of breath that he couldn't huff and he couldn't puff anymore. So he stopped to rest and thought a bit. This is too much. The wolf danced around with rage and swore he would come down the chimney and eat the little pigs up for his supper. But while he was climbing the roof, the smart little pigs made a blazing fire and put a big pot of boiling water. Then, just as the wolf was coming down the chimney, the little pig pulled off the lid and plop, in fell the wolf in the scalding water. So the little pigs put the cover on again, boiled the wolf up, and the three little pigs ate him for dinner. And the three little pigs danced and they sang and they drank and they ate and they had one of the best days of their entire lives. Unfortunate for the wolf, but lucky enough for the three little pigs. Thanks a lot for listening, guys. Have a great one. Bye.